Well, I've seen Nike announce that by 2020 it will be 100% renewable in its European facilities. And so it has been buying power from a future wind farm in Spain from the utility Iberdrola, which is a big Spanish utility. And so this is another case where a large company is announcing it can live on 100% renewable energy, in this case, 100% wind power in Spain. And in particularly interesting was that Nike on its website explaining this 100% renewable goal says transparency is fundamental to Nike in this goal, right? So, and I was looking at this, and it's pretty obvious that Nike cannot run a shoe factory or even an office by 100% wind power. It would be, when there's low wind, it would always go dark. And so what they are doing is they are having a power purchasing agreement with Iberdrola. And so they are buying a contingency of wind power whenever that's produced in a year. And then they are accounting this as their power, although they are actually getting their power from the reliable Spanish power grid, which was in 2019, which is where I got data from, only 19% wind power. Most of it was nuclear, and then also coal and natural gas was about as much as wind power in 2017. And so in the broader perspective, Nike, of course, is manufacturing a lot of its apparel and shoes and so on in places like China and Vietnam and Southeast Asia. And so they still claim that they will reach their 100% renewable goal globally very soon. And if you know about China alone has, a share of coal on its power grid of over 60%. So that's definitely dishonest and not transparent. And it served the wider goal of claiming that you can live on 100% wind and solar power, but you actually cannot, and Nike cannot. And they should be transparent.
Well, to play devil's advocate, the kind of pushback that I think we often receive here is that people will say, well, look, what's actually going on is, they are in effect adding or replacing this much percent of energy use with wind power in the way that these are structured.
Well, you could argue that they are incentivizing more wind power on the power grid, but they are themselves not replacing anything, because that wind power from that wind farm, when it's completed by 2020, would have produced, according to the Spanish law, whenever it's ready, and everyone else would have to accommodate that on the power grid. But it's not Nike's agreement itself is not the reason why wind power has been built there. And on the other hand, the ultimate goal in this sort of advertisement campaign is to claim that 100% of wind power is possible, which is not true. Like Nike can, like if the Spanish power grid was 100% wind, there would be 0 seconds per year reliable power. So it's not possible. It's definitely a lie, even if it's sort of promoting a little more wind power overall in Spain.
Yeah. And so what I forget if you just covered this, but it's like, I think I saw there's there. I mean, there's so much going on here because there's such a small percentage of their products that are made in Spain, as people with all of their sweatshop controversies. I think people should be aware of that. It's not like all the Pegasuses and, Jordans are just made in Spain. The one perspective on this 100% renewable point is that the connection between this and the Green New Deal is important, because, and this just occurred to me this week, because what you have is this 100% renewable, these lies. What they're telling people is that it's possible and desirable to run on unreliable fuels like solar and wind. And the way I've taken it in the past is that it's these 100% renewable lies are promoting renewable policies. But now I'm realizing they're actually promoting 100% renewable policy. So this Green New Deal, which is just this evil totalitarian policy, is being made possible by Facebook and Nike and Microsoft and Google. I forget Microsoft, but Intel, all of these companies that are saying we're 100% renewable, they're popularizing that very idea and then making people think naturally, oh, this is a good thing. This should be a political policy. So they are really enabling the popularity of a totalitarian policy. So that if this stuff succeeds, which I hope we can stop a lot of it, but that's a lot of blood on their hands. Like, people would look back and say, oh, how was it possible that we went through this energy catastrophe and we went from an energy leader to just energy poor and energy weak? And then it's, oh, well, there was this propaganda campaign promoted by these companies, and oh, by the way, they're not operating in the US anymore because they need reliable power from other places.